So it's January 22nd, and there is a large, freezing, snow-ridden storm across the central and southern part of the U.S. There's snow in the upper part of Florida, in the Pensacola area, over in Texas by the beach, Galveston, and then also Louisiana and New Orleans. So I've already had a couple people contact me about pipes bursting from this cold weather. So let's talk about it. Does home insurance cover it? That's going to depend. And there's some issues that could happen. So let's talk about that. So my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. So under what conditions will the insurance company cover any type of pipes that had burst? So if it happened suddenly, if it happened accidentally, and then also, like I mentioned in my opening, freezing, yes, under some conditions. So when they don't cover it is when the pipes froze, maybe you were not there and the heat wasn't on, and they can prove that the heat wasn't turned on, and that caused your pipes to freeze. Then they burst. If you were not home for a certain period of time, policies usually have 60 days. You may want to check. Some may have 30 days. So if your house has been vacant for that amount of time and nobody's been checking on the house, and you have some pipes that broke open or burst, could be an issue. And then obviously any type of slow leak. These are things that the insurance company will not cover. So whenever you have any type of pipe related incident, anything involving water in your house, the first step, you always want to call the plumber and fix the problem. If it happens to be a pipe, take photos and or video of the pipe itself. If you keep it, that's fine. You can give it to the insurance company. Um, and you always want to make sure the plumber's invoice has on there replace a broken pipe under and then wherever that area is. All right. Under the sink, under the kitchen, under the bathroom cabinet, water line behind the toilet, whatever it is. So don't forget, if you can give me a thumbs up, like this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. So the second step, really, you want to, any type of damage that you see that's water related in your walls and your floors and your baseboards, contact the water mitigation company. Probably gonna have to need to have that stuff dried out if it's a lot of damage, a lot of water. So when it comes to these water mitigation companies, there are certain laws in each state, for instance, like with Florida, where they have to provide you a copy of the bill for the water mitigation services. All right. One thing I always recommend to people in Florida, just to give you an example, if a water mitigation comes out and your insurance company does not pay the water mitigation company within 60 days, they can come after you. They can put a lien on your house. So you want to write on the agreement that they will not come after you if the insurance company doesn't pay. And you can also make sure that if you proceed with a lawsuit, that your attorney will protect their bill to give them peace of mind in this situation, that you're not going to ditch them. But this is important because you don't want them to put a lien on your house. You don't want them to come after you, because their sales pitch is always, we're going to try and get the money from the insurance company. Don't worry about it. Well, yeah, but what if the insurance company doesn't pay? People in Florida know what I'm talking about because insurance companies don't want to pay in Florida. So then you have to sue them, and you're involved in a lawsuit for a year and a half. So it's important to know if they'd be willing to hold off on coming after you or putting a lien on your house if you agree to their services. And this is where you have to write it into that contract. So step 3 is this is what we determine on whether or not we're going to file a claim with the insurance company. So does it make sense to file a claim? Now let's take a look. It's broken it down. We have to evaluate the damages. If it's over $10,000, then yes, we're going to move forward with the claim. If it's not over $10,000, I usually recommend that you don't. Um, if you're in a financial position where you can't even get it repaired, okay, let's move it down a level. Let's say that it's $5,000 to $10,000 in damage. Let's just say $8,000. You have $1,000 deductible, but you say to yourself, "Boy, I don't even have that $7,000 after my deductible to repair the bathroom after this leak." Then you can go ahead and file the claim. Now, as I say in my videos, anything under 5K, it's not worth filing a claim. And I won't get into all the reasons why. Long story short, you're going to end up with higher rates. You're going to end up being dropped. You're going to end up with other insurance companies saying, wait a minute, this person filed a $2,000 claim. We don't want anything to do with it. They're going to be a pain in the butt and file a claim for anything. So, yeah, it becomes important to evaluate the damages before you file the claim. So the step 4, this is where your insurance company becomes involved. Okay. It only really makes sense to hire somebody like me, a public adjuster, if you have only over $20,000 in damages. Now let's say that isn't the case and you have, or let's say you want to try and do it yourself. People in Florida, I do not recommend you try to do it yourself. No way. Other states, you might have a little bit easier time. California, it's tough. They're starting to become as bad as Florida. Texas is starting to become as bad as Florida. But Florida is by far the #1 state in the nation where the insurance companies never want to pay. So this advice really is for people in other states, because in Florida, you need to hire somebody right off the bat. So you would want to submit your estimates for whatever the cost is. But before you do that, get the insurance company to do their estimate, because initially they're going to make a payment off of their estimate. And they're going to make it look like there isn't anything more there. But that's when you then, after this, submit your estimates. All right. Now, this last part is very important. I'm going to, I was going to try and wipe that out, but let me see if I can do it here. You ready, sir? All right. There we go. So the reason why this part's important, because this is going to be an email that you will send to them, or you put in your own words. So insurance companies and every adjuster and public adjuster uses software called Xactimate. All right. And you can manipulate Xactimate. So here's kind of like the format of an email that you would want to write when there's a difference between your contractor's estimate or the estimate you get from somebody and the insurance company's estimate. So, Mr. Adjuster, thank you for copy of the estimate, whatever that amount is, in the amount of $200. Xactimate is just a guide. It's not the Bible. With that said, here are real world costs of my damages from a licensed contractor or just from a contractor. Not every contractor is licensed, and they don't have to be licensed. You can actually do the work. So somewhere in this type of wording is what you want to send to the insurance company to justify why the costs are more than their costs. And it is true. Xactimate is just a guide. They can manipulate it. Real world costs are the only things that matter. You can't have a program that accurately depicts, because there's so many different things that go into it. For instance, I'll give you one example. So for Hurricane Ian, we had clients that lived over a bridge into like a barrier island. And just to get from one part to the other part would be 2 hours. So that adds additional costs, transportation costs, gas costs, depreciation of the vehicles, all these other factors come into play. And costs for the workers, because you're still paying them by the hour. So the insurance company never took that in consideration. We brought that up. Anyhow, that's kind of the gist of it. These steps when you have a broken or pipe that bursts, on what to take when you're dealing with the insurance company, and the ways actually on you go by it on a step-by-step basis to put yourself in a better position. Okay. The most important, obviously, when it comes to evaluate the damages, to see if it's worth filing a claim or if it's not. So once again, my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. If you have any questions, need help with a claim, this is my contact information. Thank you for watching this video.